Hello, everyone. This is BibleTalk from St. Peter's by the Sea, brought to you by a middle school group. We're going to go around sharing our names and a fun fact. Starting with me, I'm Ruby, and a fun fact is I'm doing this podcast with my sister.
Hi, I'm Miles, and a fun fact about me is I'm the pastor's kid.
My name's James. A fun fact about me is that I've built a computer.
My name's Maddie, and a fun fact about me is that I'm on the yearbook staff at my school.
Hi, my name's Catherine, and a fun fact about me is that I'm half Nicaraguan.
I'm Caleb. A fun fact about me is that I've been in a musical review.
Hi, I'm Luca, and a fun fact about me is that I play golf.
So, I'm going to be saying some Bible fun facts. So, the first fun fact is that according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the Bible is the best-selling book in the world. It is impossible to know the exact number sold over the last 3,000 years, but they have estimated over 5 trillion. Second, the Bible has been translated into more than 600 languages. Number 3, the Gutenberg Bible was the first edition to be released with a movable type printer around 1450s. A copy was sold to a Japanese bookseller for about $5.4 million. This still holds the record for the most expensive Bible ever sold. And for the last fun fact, if someone was determined to read the Bible straight through, it would take the average person about 44 hours. And that means that you could read the Bible like this 7 times before finishing Grey's Anatomy.
Big tech news in today's time. AI is really helpful in many ways. It's helpful for coding, and also there have been brand new revolutions in kinds of high velocity and high amounts of rendering and other kinds of technology. Also, there are brand new supercomputers which have really fast processors that use new kinds of matter, like solids, liquid, and gas. There's a new kind of matter.
Great job, James.
So, I'm Maddie, and I'm going to do a book review on one of my favorite books, Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. So a brief summary of the book is there's a princess in the kingdom of Kiata. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce any of this stuff. Her name is Shiori, and she has magic, but it's forbidden to have magic in Kiata because I guess it's dangerous or something. So she doesn't know how to control it because nobody can teach her because it's not allowed. So she kind of does it in secret, and she meets a dragon, and she runs away from her marriage because she doesn't want to be married. And then her stepmother ends up cursing her because she's also a sorceress. So then she can't talk, and she has to live with a bowl on her head, and nobody can understand her. And then she turns her 6 brothers into cranes. And then I guess hijinks ensue. So some of the main characters are her 7 brothers, an origami crane that she brought to life named Kiki, her stepmother, the nameless queen, and her betrothed, I don't know. I thought the book was pretty good, but the ending, there was a cliffhanger, and the ending was a little bit vague. But there is a second one, so I guess that's okay. I would recommend the book to other people, and if you really like fantasy, then I guess you would like this kind of book. That's it.
I'm Luca, and I'm gonna start by teaching with a story. Last summer, I went to a summer camp in Michigan. At this camp, there was older boys around 13 to 15 years old. And they played this game where it's soccer, but with football rules. I was obviously not welcome to even talk to them, but to play with them was almost out of the picture. But somehow I got to play one day. About 15 minutes later, I got thrown into a JBL speaker, fracturing my growth plate. Later, they tried to apologize to me, but I couldn't really forgive. And I couldn't even look at them without trying to punch them. Wanting to, sorry. All this hate was in me because they took away my summer, and there was no way I could get that back. And I wanted to seek revenge. And during that summer, I wish I had this verse.
An eye for an eye. An eye for an eye. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If one strikes you on the right cheek, you turn to him the other also. And if someone wants to sue you and take your tunic, let him take your cloak as well. If someone forces you to go a mile, go with him 2 miles.
What Jesus is saying here is if you get bullied or are getting hurt, don't fight back, just turn your right cheek. If someone hits you, look back at them, stand in front of them, face to face, trusting that God will be your shield. Because if you trust God will be your shield, you'll never be hurt. If you lose everything but have God, you have lost nothing. To follow what Jesus said, you have to rely on God in those moments. The best way to do this is to just pray. That's the main thing. All you need to do is to pray about God and your grievances and your troubles from others. What I'm telling you here, and what Jesus is asking you to do in Matthew 5:38-42, is to rely on God in a situation where you need to turn your right cheek, and to pray to God about your troubles and grievances. It may seem hard, but that's okay, because we're not perfect, and no matter what we do, we will always fall back into sin. This is why you need God and can't do it on your own. But as long as you rely on God to turn your right cheek, you will always be following Jesus.
So thank you, Luca. That was fantastic. Thanks, everyone. So we thought we'd just chat a little bit about the scripture and what Luca just shared. So let's have all play. Everyone's in. Yeah. What do you guys think? Grab the microphones and let's go. Yeah. What are your thoughts about what Luca shared, and what does it make you think about?
It was very true. It tells us that God will protect us, and I think that is very important to know, especially when you're going through tough times.
I like what Luca's saying, and I think it's like something you should like follow, like about if someone's like hurting you, don't like try and hurt them back or something like that. But I feel like sometimes that's like hard to listen to, like less for yourself but more like for others. Because I feel like if someone was like saying that like something to me, like it like just like know that like, God is on my side. But like I feel like one time my friend, this guy said some mean things to her that I won't say, but if someone had said those things to me, like I feel like just because they had said that to like my best friend, I was just so much angrier than if they had said it to me. I just feel like it's hard. I don't know if this like makes sense, but it feel like it's harder when it's like to other people that you care about, even like less hard than when someone said it to you.
I agree with Catherine. Like, sometimes you kind of have to fight back a little bit, but this verses, they make sense too, because you show the other person that it doesn't bother you, and then they'll probably stop being mean to you.
I liked how these verses said that, like, how, like, everybody thinks, like, it should all be equal when, like, everybody should instead work together, like, run a mile, run 2 miles with him. Like, it really says that not everything is about everything being fair, but everybody being together and in peace.
Yeah, I agree with you, Caleb. But like, I remember that we had like a church sign out that says "Love your neighbor," and it kind of reminded me of that story.
Yeah, I think you guys are bringing up great points, and I love how you guys are connecting it to your everyday lives, because I think that's what matters. I think that's why we still read the scripture, and it's been 2,000 years, and we keep reading these stories. I guess one last thing I wanted to say is I think this story shares the radical nature of Jesus, that he wasn't just a good guy, a nice guy, or even just a good preacher. Jesus came to kind of change the world, to save us from kind of the hearts we can have that can be so hateful at times and so angry, really to save us from ourselves. So that's fantastic. Well, so we're almost ready to wrap up.
So thank you guys so much for listening. We are signing off strong, and just reminding everyone that I am Ruby. This is Catherine.
Hi.
This is Maddie.
Hi.
This is Miles.
Okay, you stole my line. This is James.
Hello.
This is Caleb.
Hello.
This is Luca.
Hi.
And Miss Devon. Thank you so much
So fun.
having us, for hosting this, and see you next week for Bible Talk.
Bye.